Hello, 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 and welcome to my mess. And this really is a mess. I have this wonderful little kit that I received. Carehart sent it to me and told me to make a video with it. And I started it twice. And I should have messed with the materials before I started it. So it came with this little piece of drywall tape, I believe. It is adhesive. And beautiful card from the Mandela Madness Inspiration cards. And it's got beautiful little mandala on it. And yellow and orange is my colors, so I know that's why she sent it to me. In the package was this little tips and tricks about different tools you can use with dotting. And then it came with the 3x3 canvas. And as you can probably tell, I painted the orange on top and the yellow on the sides. And honestly, it's that transparent. And for an image to show up the way I want it to show up, I think I'm going to need a little bit more of an opaque color. So what I've done, it's really pretty when you put it on paper towel. What I've done is I mixed a little bit of the orange, my orange paint, with this orange sparkle. And a little bit of the yellow will be mixed with this yellow. I really, excuse me, don't know what my plans are. I have really no idea. But I am going to paint the yellow sides, or the sides yellow, which they were painted with this sparkly, but I'm doing a mixture now, and I'm going to paint that yellow. And it is got a little bit of sparkle in it because I did put one coat of the transparent paint over it. And my brush wasn't real clean, so it's kind of got a little bit of an orange cast, but it's really pretty. I'm hoping you can tell the true colors on here. Me and videoing haven't really gotten along too well lately, so we're working on it, trying to come to a mutually happy medium somewhere. So I'm going to go ahead and, yes, my water's this dirty. I should have grabbed clean water before I started, but I didn't. So I have a mixed up set of paints, and by mixed up I mean the solid color mixed in with the sparkly. So I'm going to do some dots on it. And I know the majority of mandalas are done with the center point and they work out. Will mine go that way? Probably not. The little paper that came with it that said all the different things you could use. Just right here at my table, I have a Cricut tool. And I have a zillion paintbrushes. Well, maybe not a zillion. Plus, I have all my stylus, and I used to do ceramics. So, I actually have several of these. More than most people should have, I suppose. And there's a paintbrush. You can always pull out a bundle and look at them and see if you got any that gives you that beautiful little point that you want. And I don't. Crochet hook. I bet that will give me a nice fine point. Oh yeah. That will be a good point. Of course, there's always your pointy tools. Yes, they're called an awl. Yeah, that's too little. I'm not seeing that tonight. There's another crochet hook. I really like the crochet hooks a lot. One thing she said about was a mechanical pencil, and believe it or not, I don't have one here. Let's see what happens when I use a regular pencil. That's a nice small dot. It would work, but you're going to have to always make sure that you dip it frequently because it's got lead in it. So it's very likely to leave a brown mark. I suppose, no, paperclip, that's pretty little too. Let's see, let's try something a little bit bigger. This is a marker. That's a nice dot. That's not a very good impression for me to do, but it's a nice dot. So I think I'll go ahead and put a little more yellow paint in this. And let's see what I come up with. I got quite a bit of the orange there, so let's try this crochet hook and see what it does. That's a good starting point. That's going to be our center, or maybe it's just going to be our starting point. And I am going to put a little more paint out. I don't watch too many dotting things, but I have watched Christy several times, and she has her paint in a little cup, and it looks so much easier because you're really getting into the paint. Here at some point it's going to be all smashed and flattened. So you know what, I'm just going to do a design. I'm not going for the Mandela look. Let's see if I can do this. So I'm going to go for the corner. Of course they're not all the same. And this canvas, when I was messing with it earlier, it's not like any canvases I've used because the board in the back is beveled. So you only have like a 1/4 inch of wood on the edges that you're pressing on. The rest you're pressing on the canvas. And I touched that too soon, so we'll have to touch that up. So I really like this. This one is a lot smaller, and I'm just going to, nope. Okay, I don't like that. So we're going to cheat, and I am going to take this one and see if I can't make that more circular. Yeah, I'm probably showing you ways to cheat that most people would think, oh my gosh, you should put that up. Okay, so they're similar in size. Let's see what this one does. Oh, there we go. It might be a little smaller, but it's going to be what I want it to be. I'm hoping that it's at least consistent. And I'm sure this has something to do with the fact that I'm not able to dip it into a large amount of paint. So, pretty weird, huh? We're going to keep going. I'm not giving up. Now, whether or not I publish this video, that's a whole nother story. Now, this one tends to look like it curves, and I know it's the placement and the size. This one, not so much, but we're going to pretend it does. I have a very vivid imagination, can you tell? So, I think we're going to stop there for now. And I'm going to go to the Cricut tool and see what it does. That's way a lot of the transparent mixed in there right now. Okay. I'm going back to my stylus and see what I think. Yeah, the paint is just too transparent for me to see. And it could be just the eyes. Oh, cruddy paint. Okay, we're just going to go with this. and it is not showing up at all. So, with that being said, I don't like it. So let's try something else. I'm going to grab some alcohol and spray it on my paper towel. Okay, so we're changing our whole plan. I still like the yellow on the sides, except for where my fingerprints have messed it up. But we're going to leave that because I know what I want to do to it, and we'll come back to it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my paintbrush, and I'm just going to paint this whole thing orange. Because I'm still wanting to stay in the same color group that was in the kit with your design. So I am going to pause you for a moment, and I am going to dry this. Welcome back. So I painted this and I dried it and gave it a second coat and dried it again. And now I have a yellow and an orange, just like my paints, but it's not the transparent. But we're still going to use the transparent because I'm kind of thinking maybe a glaze over the whole thing when it's done. Okay, so I do know what I want to do here. And I'm going to grab me a sponge, and I'm going to put a little more of the orange paint, and I'm going to again mix in some of the sparkle. I think my biggest problem with the sparkle is I really don't work with sparkles much, so it's kind of new to me. But this is one of those videos where you get to see the real thought process in a design, rather than me just, having a finished product and then showing you how I made it. This one we're going start to finish, right or wrong. So I'm going to use this little bit of material here, and I'm going to put it on here, and it fits just perfect. I'm going to get some paint on my sponge. Just using a cheap makeup sponge here. I'm going to blot it off a little bit. Make sure it's as full as it can be, but not crazy. And I'm just going to use this as a stencil. Are we ready? Voila, not perfect, but it will do. And I'm going to go ahead and do this side, and we're going to let that dry. Or maybe we'll speed dry it here in a minute. I'm going to try folding this down. Let's see. The stencil is not laying flat on the canvas very well for me, and I'm sure it's user use, totally. But the really cool part about this is when this is all done, you know what? It's not perfect, but I really like it. And there's a little of the sparkle in the orange and a little of the sparkle in the yellow still showing through. I'm not really sure you can see that, but just a little bit. But then when it's all done, I'll have this real pretty piece of something to add into something. I think it's drywall tape. I think I said that, but I'm not sure, and I do know it's adhesive. So we got that, and we have to figure out what we're going to do for the top. And because the yellow doesn't show up real well and on there, and the orange, of course, isn't going to show up at all because it's orange, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add another color. I'm not big on orange and blue, but I do like orange and turquoise. So we're going to try working with the orange and turquoise. Let's see which tool makes the dot I want. Too small. See what this one does. Still too small. This one would be what I want, but it's got a rounded top, so it needs to be a little flat. So finding a flat paintbrush in the right size is probably not going to happen well. So what I'm going to do is I got a Prismacolor pencil here. There we go. That's what I want. Now let's go ahead and lay this little guy right over here so I don't drag my arm in it and get it in everything. Yeah, that would really happen. So I'm going to go back to what I was doing because I really like the idea of the big ones in the corners. And you know what? I'm going to change my plan of what I started with just a little bit. Okay, so we got those in the four corners. Let's go ahead and put them right here. Oh yeah, this is my favorite by far of my dotting tools. Okay, so that's okay. It's not a mandala, but it's dots, and I think that'll be quite fine. I'm gonna really like that. And I'm wanting something bigger than my dotting tool, and bigger than my paintbrush. So I'm going to try something real quick, and let's see if this works. I'm sure it will. I'm going to take an emery board. I'm going to take my paintbrush, because I mean we really don't use this end, so we're not ruining anything. And I'm trying to keep it nice and level. Now let's see what kind of dot that gives me. That's about what I'm looking for. So I think we need a different color. Let's dump our sponge in there. So let's see what the yellow with the turquoise looks like. Okay. Let's see what yellow on the orange will do. This isn't a very good practice spot, but it should give me what I want. And I'm still not sure this is quite the dot tool I want. It's not wanting to absorb enough paint. So it was a good idea, but it just is not working out quite the way I think it should. So I'm going to come over here and see what other tools we have. Told you I had a lot of stylus. This one's probably the biggest one right here. So let's see if we can't get some of that paint off. Although who knows, that could be just the ticket it needs to be a perfect size dot that I'm looking for. So we're going to try the yellow. And see, I smeared. And I think I watched somebody else being showed how to do this and was told you got to make a smear. You will always make a smear on your first one. So it's just not dotting as pretty as I think. I'm not getting enough paint. And I'll be honest with you, I really don't know what to do about that or how to fix that. But I'm going to continue trying because I can. And I'm sure that somebody else will let me know on just what I need to do to make this better. Or exactly what I need to do to give it up. This might not be my calling. So let's just do the corners this way. And I think part of this is it's just not a real sturdy surface for what I'm used to. I mean, this is totally different for me. And I like it. It's very, very peaceful. Even though it's not really very good. But it's nice to see that somebody can take something and try. And that's all that matters, is that we try. So we are just not having good luck with the paint. And yeah, it's probably the paint too. It's cheap paint. It's old paint. And it's just, it's a soft surface. It's also giving with every dot I make. It's adequate. But I should be able to go more than one dot. Okay, so it's not perfect. But you know what? It's art, and art doesn't have to be perfect. So let's continue with the yellow. I'm going to put a little more paint in the lid and see if that'll work. Might have to send an SOS out to Christy Biddleston and see if she can teach me dotting. It's very comforting and very relaxing. I hope I don't fall asleep doing this. But I'm not sure I would enjoy doing something where I have to dip it every time. Although it's much prettier when I dip it every time. Smears and all. That little edge right there where the board is just barely there, that's really causing me to, I don't know, mess up, not be able to press it the right place or what. I'm not really sure. I'll give you a little zoomed up so you can see just how not very good it is. But hey, we're all at home doing our own thing, learning new things, and this is my new learn for me. I can live with this. I think in the long run I'm going to like it. Besides, it's orange. For many, many years, my nephew, now granted he's 24 now, 25, maybe even 26, I don't know. They age, I don't. And he has always bought me something in orange. And little things, little fun things. And I have them hanging all over my studio. So now I need to do something different. And I kind of have something in my mind, but I'm not completely there yet. So I like the bright colors, and I was thinking a green would be good in here, but I don't have a green that'll show up good. This one might work, but it's probably a little too olivey, but that's what I've got. So I guess we're going to do with what we have. We're going to go back to the pencil because I want a big dot. The bigger the dot, the less I have to work on it, right? So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to get my center point. That's okay. Then I'm going to halfway between each one of those. I can tell you right now, this is my favorite tool of everything I've tried. Nice big dot. It's nice and flat. Maybe that's what I need to do. Maybe that's how I am supposed to do dots. I don't know. Like I said, it's a learning process. Let's try this again. We're going to go ahead and try the paintbrush. Hopefully we're okay with it. I can tell I'm just not sure what it... Oh yeah, that'll be good. So it had to be something with the edge of the canvas there. Or I'm getting the hang of it. Something like that. Nope, no trains. That's my phone. I kind of hurt my shoulder today, so it probably is a friend calling to check on me. But I have to tell you that my husband and I usually go and eat every Monday or Tuesday. Just depends upon what day we feel the best at doing it. And at this really amazing Mexican restaurant here in town. It's something we both love. Well, today I had to go to the post office, and I thought, well, let's just drive around a little bit. I haven't been out for a while. And they put in a drive-in window and doing drive-up. I was giddy like a little girl because I got Mexican food tonight. Well, of course we know it's not as good as going there. But, oh man, was it good. Yes, and some of my dots are touching the other dots. And I think that comes from my years of toll painting, because I would make flowers like this on different painted pieces. And so that's where my mind is going, instead of keeping the dots consistent in a mandala type of way. I keep thinking because honestly, that's what I'm seeing is little flowers. And keeping the dots away from the center is kind of hard. I want to make them touch. But, for the struggles this has caused me to get started with, I'm really, really enjoying the process now. I'm even trying different techniques and different ways to make my dots, and I'm pleased. It just took a while. It just took a while. That's all there is to it. So I think that looks pretty cool. I think we need some more dots, of course. And I think we're going to go back to my favorite, the pencil. We're going to go with the yellow. And I think that's not going to work. I forgot I put it in the lid here. So let's get a little bit of yellow. Let's test it out first. I don't get it up here and make this huge globular glump thing. I'm going to put it right there. And right there. And I guess you don't need my play-by-play here, do you? Okay, I'm okay with this so far. Let's go with the green again. I'm just going to keep it to these three colors. There will be some black added on somewhere down the line. I may have to take a picture and share this later or something, because waiting for it to dry, it could be a while. I put these dots here, and I want them a little bit bigger than what they make, so I'm doing the painting part and swirling them a little bit. Okay, so you can kind of get an idea what it looks like. And then the sides have their yellow with the orange dots. At this point, I really need to let it dry, because I do want to put some more dots on top of the dots, but I really need to let it dry. And I've got like 6 more videos to cut. I'm probably not going to get them all done tonight, but I'm going to try. And I will try to come back and put this on the end of the other video. So we'll see y'all in a little bit. So I let the layers dry, and I put on more dots on top of more dots. and I have some that are waiting to dry. I had originally thought that maybe the edges needed a black outline because I tend to outline everything I make. But you know what? I don't think so. I'm going to try it without it and see how I do. If I think I have to do it, I will, but yeah, I kind of like it. So I think it's pretty much the way it is. And it's going to look so awesome in my studio with all my other orange stuff. I hope you've enjoyed. Thank you, and we'll be seeing you again. Bye-bye.